So good morning. Today's revision class for the Unit 5. So Unit 5 will be comprised of the three components are there. One is the principles of building planning. Second one is building bylaws. Third component is going to be the classification of the buildings. So for the today's class, we are going to be discussing about the building bylaws. In this, once you are understanding the principles of the building planning, then the second one is building bylaws. In this topic, we are going to be discussing about the what are the objectives of the building bylaws, why the building bylaws is necessary, and so in addition to the building bylaws, I'm going to be explaining about what is meant by the floor area, what is meant by the carpet area, what is meant by the plinth area, and what are the restrictions are there for setbacks. So building bylaws means it is going to be called as setbacks, or we are going to be leaving the spaces at the front, back, or the front, rear, and as well as sides. How much spaces we are going to be leaving for better lighting and as well as better ventilation. And also in the future, we want to go for any extensions also is going to be possible. For these purposes, we are going to be following the guidelines of building bylaws. That is, building bylaws is going to be restricted, or building bylaws is going to be uh, depending upon the area, it is going to be changes. Depending upon the jurisdiction, it is going to be changes. Comes under the village or the area or the building is going to be constructed in the village, the building bylaws is going to be different. And in the town area, so building bylaws will be different. In the city area, building bylaws will be different. Means the building is going to be constructed in which area or which jurisdiction, in village or in the town or in the city area. These are the three areas will be there. After acquiring the land, we are going for the construction. So as per the principles, we are going to follow building principles. Then we are going to be planning. Then we have to go for, we have to be see that what are the setback distances or what are the open spaces that we had to be leave for the various purposes. That is going to be explaining about the building bylaws. So what is building bylaws? So the definition for the building bylaws is that the rules and regulation framed by the town planning authorities covering the requirements of the building, ensuring safety of the public through open spaces. Open spaces will be comprised of size of the room, height of the room, minimum size of the room, height of the room, and area limitation are known as building bylaws. So your building bylaws is going to be covering, or it is going to be consisting of the size of the room, height of the room, as well as area limitation. How much area we are going to be constructing the building itself, and as well as in addition to that one, what are the open spaces will be there for the entire building. Rules and regulations which largely regulate the building activity should be formulated to get disciplined growth of the building and the better plan and development of towns and cities. So the one of the objective we are going to be covering is the disciplined growth of the buildings, disciplined growth of the development. Disciplined growth of the development only possible if you are going to be following that the building bylaws. So that is the one of the major objective we are going to be getting by using the building bylaws. Then what are the various objectives of the building bylaws? Is pre-planning of the building activity, already allow orderly growth and prevent haphazard development. There is a second point is going to be called as, so the orderly growth and orderly growth or the orderly development is going to be possible by using the building bylaws. Provision of bylaws usually offered safety against fire, noise, health hazard, and structural failure. So another aspect we are going to be covering if you are going to be following the guidelines of the building bylaws is that first one is going to be safety against fire and noise pollutions, fire resistance, and we are going to call fire hazardous. We can able to avoid if you are having that the following the building bylaws. Health hazard. So we are going to be getting that the hygiene conditions. We are going to be following that the building bylaws. Provide proper utilization of the space to achieve the maximum efficiency in the planning. So we are going to be utilizing that the maximum space, and also we are going to be getting the comfortable staying. So they provide health, safety, comfort to the people who live in the building. There is the health and safety point of view, and comfort also we are going to be provided by using that the building bylaws. Due to these bylaws, each building will have proper approaches, light, air, and ventilation. So finally, what we are going to be achieving by the building bylaws is that proper approaches will be there. Light we can able to get, and air and ventilation. So abundant light, air, and ventilation we can able to get it if you are going to be following the guidelines of the building bylaws. Then the scope of building bylaws, where we can use the or where we can provide the building bylaws, where we can able to restrict the building bylaws. One is building frontage line, how much distance will be there building frontage line, minimum plot size or minimum area, built up area of the building, height of the building, provision of safety, water supply, drainage and proper light and ventilation, requirement of off-street parking. Off-street means on the road itself we are parking the vehicles, so there is no off-street parking. So on-street parking and off-street parking, on-street parking and off-street and away from the building, we are going to be parking the cars, vehicles is going to be called off-street parking. Size of the structural element. These are the where we can able to restrict the building bylaws. Minimum area of the plot, and as well as what is the built-up area, what is the height of the building will be necessary, and similarly water supply and sanitary and drainage purposes. Drainage purposes, we are going to be leaving the spaces, so that is the more important while you are going following the building bylaws. Then applicability of the building bylaws, where we can use these building bylaws. This any new constructions, we can able to follow the building bylaws. Additional alteration to the building, for existing building already is there, for that we can go for any additional alterations. Also we have to follow that the building bylaws. Changing of occupants of the building, third one is most important one. Changing of occupants of the building means, example they given that residential to the education, or education building to the residential building, or education building to the commercial building, means automatically so the functioning of the building is going to be changes. If the functioning of the residential building is going to be different, functioning of the education building is going to be different. Similarly, functioning of the commercial building is going to be different, functioning of the industrial building is going to be different. So like that we want to change from one occupancy to the other occupancy, in that cases also we had to be follow that the building bylaws. Development of land is undertaken, so the site we are going to be taken for development purposes. The development may be residential or commercial or industrial purpose. In demolition, so once there is the design period of the building is completed, then we have to go for the demolition. For that demolition also we have to be follow the guidelines of the building bylaws. So these are the areas we are going to be strictly following the building bylaws. New construction, additional and alterations, any additional alteration of the building, change of the occupants of the building, development of the land taken in demolition. So then while you are going for the follow understanding the principles of the building planning, then next one is going for, you are going for the construction. We have to understand that what is meant by the built up area, what is meant by the plinth area, what is meant by the floor area, what is meant by the carpet area, and what is meant by the super built up area. So the first we will discuss about the built up area. Built up area is going to be called complete. The term itself is going to be giving the meaning. This is going to be called as covered area, complete covered area, where the total entire area, entire construction is going to be taking place, including all the basement, building structure, ramps, swimming pool, reservoir, chimney, or water purification plant, whatever it may be. There, all it is going to be covered is going to be called as built up area. The area covered by the building immediately above the plinth level, whatever it is going to be called, that is going to be called as superstructure area. So then the plinth area, it is going to be covering on the basement of the any story, is going to be called as plinth area. Means built up covered area measured at the floor level. Built up area at the floor level, we are going to be called as the plinth area of the building. It is going to be covering area of the walls. It has to be included in the plinth area of the walls at floor level. So cover of the stairs and machine room or porch without cantilever. These are all comes under the plinth area. So in the diagram, we can able to see that the built-up area is equals to area of the walls plus carpet area. So it's going to be built-up area equal to area of the walls plus carpet area. Super built-up area is going to be area of the walls plus carpet area plus common area. Common area also is going to become as a super built-up area. In this diagram, we can able to see this orange color is going to be covering is the common area. So this common area, and yellow line is going to be giving as your carpet area, and blue lines is going to be gives you as your, so the area of the walls, all the walls, area of the walls plus carpet area, we are going to be called as built up area. So built up area, and including that the common area, that we are going to call as super built up area. So this is the diagram is going to be showing that different colors. Built up area equals to area of the walls plus carpet area. This is a simple definition for built up area. Super built up area is area of the walls plus carpet area plus common area is going to be called as super built up area. So then the carpet area. So the carpet area is going to be called, in the diagram you can able to see that the carpet area is going to be, so light color, orange color is going to be showing that. So we are going to spreading the carpet what is the area it is going to be covering, that is why going to be called as carpet area. Carpet excluding the walls. You can able to see that the walls is kind of blue color will be there, and as well as the washrooms and kitchens we are going to be avoided. So that we are going to be called as the balcony. So balcony below the store, and the duct and lift we are going to be leaving. So terrace, open terrace we are going to be leaving, and remaining areas completely is going to be covering is going to be called as carpet area. It is net usable area within the building, means that net area within a unit of a building excluding walls. Walls is not going to be coming, or columns, service areas such as washrooms. Washrooms also is not going to be coming in this one. Kitchen and pantry, kitchen also, kitchen and pantry, semi-open spaces such as veranda or balcony or corridors or passages. So carpet area means we are going to spreading the carpet. What is the area it is going to be covering? It is going to full. It is covering that we are going to call as carpet area. Then the floor area. Floor area, it is usable area on the each floor. On the each floor, not the plinth level, it is going to be called plinth area. Floor area means it is usable area on each floor. It is including porch. Each flat area in single floor of the apartment, stairs, corridors, door swing place. You are going to be swinging the door. How much it is going to be occupying also is going to come under the floor area. Now the setback distance. This is the main important we are going to be seeing for the building bylaws. So if you take this, so the thick line is going to be giving as a building, then it is going to be called a side. How much space we are going to be leaving? This is the side. How much we are going to spacing, and then the rear or the back. What is the how much space we had to leave, and front how much space we had to leave. So these are we are going to be called as setback distances. These setback distances we are going to be called as building bylaws. So this is going to be how much distances or how much setbacks we are going to be leaving or we are going to be keeping aside. That is depending upon that area. Area comes under the village, or area comes under the town, or area comes under the city. Permissible setback distance, width of the road. This is setback distance is going to be depends upon that what is the width of the road. So that's why in previous case we can able to see that the street from the road, how much distances will be there. The road is going to be called as one of the criteria we are going to be considering for the setback distance. So the width of the road is 12 meters, then your permissible setback is 1.5 meters. Greater than 12 meters, your permissible setback is 2.0 meters. Road width less than 3 meters and length less than 30 meters, then no setbacks will be there. So less than 3 meters, more than 3 meters only, or 12 meters, greater than 12 meters only, setbacks are there, but less than 3 meters, there is no setback we are going to be leaving. Advantages setback. What are the advantages will be there? So we can able to get first one is going to be called as ventilation and air circulation will be there. Better condition of air, light and ventilation. At corners, it improve visibility and safety from the traffic. Space for parking, we are able to get it. Protection of the building from street nuisance like noise. That is the noise pollution we can able to avoid. Reduce the danger of fire from neighbor house, so that the fire hazardous we can able to avoid it. It provides privacy in the building. These are the advantages if you are going to be leaving the setbacks or the distances in the front, rear and sides. Building and control line. So now we are going for the construction or we are going for the building bylaws. This is the most important. What is meant by the building line? What is meant by the control line? So building line is up to that the building is going to be constructed. Control line is going to be called as so still beyond the building line is going to be called as control line. So the line up to which the plinth of the building adjoining street or road or on which a street may lawfully extend is known as the building line. Up to what extent we can able to construct the building from the road, so that is going to be called as the street or the road, that is going to be called building line. Control line, buildings such as cinemas, factories, commercial center which attract large number of vehicles should be set back distance apart from the building line. The line up to which building can be constructed is a control line. Means we had to leave the spaces for parking of the vehicles. Cinema, factories, commercial center which attract large number of vehicles should be a setback distance apart from the building line. Apart from the building line, we had to go for an extra space we are going to be leaving, that we are going to be called as control line. Means so the control line, after that we are going to be getting the building line. Now we can able to see from the diagram what is the building line and what is the control line. Now we can able to see that this is the road width, street. Building line is going to be this is one, and control line is going to be up to this one. So the you are going to be building line means we can go, construct the building up to this line. Control line means only we are going to be constructing this line only. This Orange space we are going to be leaving for the parking spaces for the vehicles. That is like cinemas and any recreation centers. We are commercial buildings we are going to constructed. We are going to construct up to this one point only. This space is going to be left for parking of the vehicles. Suppose you are going for the building, residential buildings, up to this point we can able, up to this green line we can able to get the building line. So the no building activity after this point, building activity control line is no building above 13 meters from this one. No building above 13 meters control line. That is the definition of the control line is. So in this area, no building is above 13 meters height. So that is the control of the building activity. Then another one is going to be called floor space index. FSI is more important to go for the size of the areas, the plot areas. So how we are going to be decided is going to be based on that the floor space index, that is the total covered area of all the floors divided by plot area. We are going to call as floor space index. Total covered area of all the floors. How many floors we are going to divided by plot area. Total plot area we are going to be giving as the FSI. So permissible FSI for the residential area is 1. Remark maximum. So at the GF ground floor is 0.4. Width of the road more than 12 meters. Residential city area is permissible FSI is 4. Residential city area is width of the road less than 12 meters. FSI is going to be 3. And industrial areas maximum allowed. So GF is 1.0, 1.5 permissible FSI. Commercials is 1.33. These are the FSIs, permissible FSIs. Depending upon that, the residential area comes in the city, that comes in the towns and villages. Towns and the villages. Principles underlying building bylaws. What are the principles we had to follow? Classifying the building with unit as family and mentioning the requirement. What is the type of the building we are going to be constructed? First principle we had to see that. And classify rooms according to use, and then specifying minimum standard of each room with respect to size, height, floor area, and ventilation and light. Specify height of compound wall and location of gate in wall. Controlling projection in marginal space. Insisting on suitable FSI, floor space index, or floor area ratio, FAR, floor area ratio. Specify suitable arrangements with respect to the drainage and water supply. What are the arrangements required for the drainage and water supply? Specify setbacks, light plan and margin, and they specify minimum size of the plots and their dimension and figure. These are the principles we have to follow for the building bylaw. First, we have to know about what is the type of the building. Then, based on the type of the building, we have to go for the rooms, size of the room, height of the room, and floor area of the room and ventilation. And what is the compound wall, height of the compound wall, and what is the FSI and FAR, floor space index, and floor area ratio, and what are the arrangements for the drainage and as well as the water supply schemes, and what are the setbacks. Building bylaws for residential area. So for residential area, going for that one, what are the restrictions will be there, in what are the in which places we have to go for the restriction. That is the size of the plot we are going for applying the building bylaws, area limitation, margins, height of the building, plinth height, minimum area of the rooms, basement, compound wall, projection margin, parapet wall, mezzanine floor, and staircase. These are the areas we are going to be following that the guidelines of the building bylaws. What are the setbacks we had to believe, and what is the restricted areas or restricted widths we are going to provide it for the size of the plot, area limitation, what is the area we are going to be using, what are the margins to the road we are going to be leaving, height of the building, what is the plinth height, what is the minimum area of the rooms, basement, compound wall, projection margin, parapet wall, mezzanine floor, and staircase. First one is going to be called size of the plot. Size of the plot is where the plot size is greater than 250 square meters. Detached building means individual one. Semi-detached building. So semi-detached building has, so the semi-detached building is individual building with lesser spaces are there. Row type of the building, it is going to be called as a colony, or it is going to be called a gated community. We are going to be called as row type of the buildings. Frontage, you have to leave the space size of about 12 meters and 8 to 12 meters and 4.58 meters, and plot size greater than 250 square meters, 125 to 250 square meters. How much frontage we are going to be leaving, and 50 to 125 square meters of row type building. What is the frontage is 4.55 to 8 meters. Area limitation. So the FAR, floor area ratio, specifically taking into account the following aspect: area limitation, occupancy class, type of the construction, width of the street frontage building and the traffic load, parking facilities, local firefighting facilities, water supply and drainage. We have to see that one for the area limitation. So in the built-up area, the FSI, floor space index, should be 1 with maximum utilization up to 0.4 on ground floor. So 1 with maximum and 0.4 with the ground floor we are going to be leaving. So area of the plot is less than 200 square meters. Maximum permeable covered area is, and 201 to for 500 square meters. 50% of the plot area or 133 square meters, whichever is more. Maximum permeable covered area. And 501 to 1000 square meters, 40% of the plot area or 250 square meters, whichever is more. And greater than 1000 square meters, 33% of the plot area or 400 meters, whichever is more. So area of the plot will be there. How much built up area we have to use is, if your area is greater than 1000 square meters, your built up area is 33% of the plot area or 400 square meters is your built up area. If it is area is going to be coming on 501 to 1000 square meters, 40% of the plot area you are going to be using for the built up area or 250 square meters, whichever is more. Whichever is more, we have to be considering either 40% or 250 square meters is the built up area. If 201 to 500 square meters, 50% of the plot area or 133 square meters of whichever is more. All the cases, whichever is the more, we can able to use as a built up area. This is the area of the plot restriction. Margins: front open space, rear open space, and side open spaces called as the open spaces inside and around the building, particularly residential type, have to provide to cater the lighting and ventilation requirement. For building up to 300 square meters plot area. So what is the front, rear, and sides? We are going to be leaving that one. Up to 50 square meters of the plot area, front open space only is there 0.75 meters. There is no space for the rear and there is no space for the sides. 51 to 75 square meters, 1, 1 and 0.5 at the sides. 76 to 100 square meters of the plot area, your front open space is 1.25 meters, rear open space is 1 meter, and side open space is 0.5 meters. 101 to 150 square meters, front open space is 2 meters, rear open space is 2 meters, and sides is 1.25 meters. 151 to 200 square meters of plot area, 2 meters is the front open space, and rear or the back is 2 meters, and sides is 1.25 meters. 201 to 300 square meters is front open space is 3, rear open space is 2, and 1.5 meters is the sides. For building above 300 square meters of plot area and height up to 30 meters. So minimum front setbacks, width of the road is based upon the width of the road. Minimum setbacks we are going to be leaving. Up to 12 meters, width of the road is there in meters. There is a minimum setback is 3 meters. 12 to 18 meters, 4 meters. Above 18 meters, width of the road is available. Then 4.5 meters is the minimum setback. Minimum front setback. This is the minimum front setback. Minimum rear setback is 3 meters. Rear is 3 meters. Front is, depending upon the width of the road, we are going to be allocating is up to 12 meters. Front setback is 3 meters. 12 to 18 meters of the width of the road is available. 4 meters is the front setback. Above 18 meters, 4.5 meters is the front setback. Similarly, minimum side backs, that is the side setbacks we are going to be having. So plot area is 301 to 670 meters. The minimum setback is 1.5 meters or 0.25 meters of the height of the building of each side. Above 670 meters of this plot area, 3 meters on both sides. So this is about the, if the plot area is greater than 300 square meters and a height up to 13 meters. Then the height of the building also is going to be one of the important aspect that we are going to be following for the designing of the residential buildings. If the height of the building is less, so we cannot able to get their circulation properly. If the height of the building is more, we can able to get that enough space will be there. So then also very good circulation, ventilation, we are able to get it. Height of the building according to the width of the street. The maximum height of the building shall not exceed 1.5 times of the width of the road. So this is based upon the width of the road, we can able to fix that one. It should not exceed 1.5 times of the width of the road. For building in vicinity of aerodromes, others airports, the maximum height of the building is fixed in consultation with civil aviation authorities. Near to the airport, that is going to be depending upon that. So the civil aviation authorities, we have to fix that the height of the building. The height shall not included if building is erected 1/3 of roof of area, including roof tank and support, ventilating lift room and roof structure than penthouse. Plinth height. How much plinth plinth beam wagon provided? The height of the plinth shall not be less than 450 mm from ground level. From the ground level should not be less than 450 mm. Minimum height is 600 mm is the best from drainage or other considerations. It is minimum 900 meters in waterlogged soils. In waterlogged areas, your plinth height is 900 mm or 600 mm is the moderate height, and it should not be less than 450 mm. 450 mm of the plinth height from the ground level. Minimum sizes of different rooms. Minimum sizes of the different rooms. Habitable room, that is the bedroom, living room, and study room. You can call it a habitable room. It comes as bedroom, study room. Minimum area is 9.5 square meters. Minimum size of the site is 2.4 meters. Height is not less than 2.75 meters. Kitchen is the minimum area requirement is 5 square meters. Minimum size of the site is 1.8 meters. Height is not less than 2.75 meters. Bathrooms and water closets, minimum area is 1.8 square meters. Size of the site is, if bath and water closet are combined, so its floor area shall not be less than 2.8 square meters with minimum width of 1.2 meters. Not less than 2.1 meters is the height. And storeroom, minimum area is 3 square meters and height is not less than 2.2 meters. Garages, 12.5 square meters is the minimum area. 3 meter by 6 meter is the minimum side. Not less than 2.4 meters is the height. Staircase, the minimum width of the stairs is 0.9 meters. Clear headroom shall be 2.2 meters. Then the building requirements, minimum floor area in square meters minimum. So room and shop or office is 9, floor area is 9 square meters. As acceptable up to 2.4 square meters. Kitchen 3.8, storeroom 3.6, puja, bath, pump and coal and dressing rooms 1.35 square meters. Garage 12 square meters. Water closet and washrooms 0.1 square meters. Study room 3.6 meters. Stall up to 9 meters. Toilet 1.75 meters. Basement and cellar. So that is depending upon that the building we can able to leave the basement or the cellar we are going to construct it. The basement shall not be used for residential purpose. The basement should be constructed within the prescribed setback and building lines and subject to maximum on entrance floor may be put only the following use as storage of household, storage strong rooms or bank cellars, parking places, air conditioning equipment and other machines. The basement or the cellar is going to be constructed. Requirement of the basement. The height of the basement from the floor to the underside of the roof slab or ceiling shall not be less than 2.4 meters. From that the roof or from the ceilings shall not be less than 2.4 meters. The maximum height of the ceiling of any basement shall be 0.9 meters and maximum 1.2 meters. This is the total height we can able to provide for the basement or the cellar. Adequate arrangement shall be made such that the surface drainage does not enter into the basement. That is the main important aspect we have to cover, that in case of the floods or in case of a heavy rainfall, it is not, the water is not entering into the basement. The walls and floor of the basement shall be watertight. Compound wall. So the compound wall, what is the height and what is the width they are going to be constructed, except with special permission of the maximum height of compound wall shall be 1.5 meters above center line of the front street. It is permitted 2.4 meters when the top of 0.9 meters open type of construction. Even the corner plot is restricted to 0.75 meters for a length of 10 meters. The balance height of 0.75 meters may be made up through the railing and designed to approved by the authority. So that is going to be depending upon the height of compound should be 1.5 meters above the center line of the front street. So it is permitted 2.5 meters when the top and 0.9 meters open type of construction. This is the width of the compound wall.